Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, reviewing often rare and exotic whiskeys, and I surrender. What does that mean? I've given up on trying to actually review almost each and every one of these Signatory Vintage 100 proof editions. Now, I purposely left off a Koile here and there that I've actually bought and then did a bottle share for those. I'm not a beathead, therefore. But this is number 18, 19, and 20. This is the Glentauchers 2012, 12-year-old, first fill, Oloroso sherry, but they're all 57.1% ABV. This is Whiskybase 257730. So this over here is the Linkwood, also from 2023. It's a 10-year-old, second fill, Oloroso sherry butt, Whiskybase 255605. And last but not least, we have over here the Glenrothes, also the 10-year-old, but it's just called Oloroso sherry butts. First fill, second fill, no fill, I don't know. So probably they added a 1 barrel third, and it's like, okay, we can't call it first, we can't call it second, we don't want to call it first and second. We'll just generically call it Oloroso sherry butts. Now, that's just absolutely fine and absolutely good. I do have a little bit left from my German video in my glasses here, so I'll just pour and top them up a tiny little bit. They cost over here in Germany, the recommended retail price is 44.90 euros. So almost everyone immediately sold them for 42.90 euros, and the first companies actually have them now online for 39.90. So about 40 some euros for almost cask strength whiskey, age stated, natural color, non-chilled filtered, small batch if you'd like to use the term that we use in America for this, and for a great price. There's just too many of them, at least in my opinion. All right, so what do I have here? I have, and I want to compare these two bottles here, just because I can. This is the Linkwood Exceptional. There is in here, we have first fill Pedro Jimenez hogsheads, and we have second fill Oloroso sherry butts. Here we have exclusively second fill sherry butts. 17 years of age, 10 years of age. This is 84 euros. This is 42 euros. I can get two of these, or I can get both of these for one of these. This is the Exceptional. These are the special barrels that were picked for that. So we've had 6 exceptional barrels. We've had 24. We now have 24 in the middle of October of the normal 100 proof. That's 30 some bottlings in basically a year. I cannot say I'm sick and tired of 100 proof, but I've surrendered. I just can't keep up with the amount of bottlings we have here. It's just too much. That's going to be my question of the day, is if I were to talk with Andrew Symington and say, hey, Andrew, what would I recommend on bottling frequency? They're usually putting them out at 3 at a time. I would go for 2 at a time. So I would do, once a month, I would do 2 100 proof bottlings. Now, as a reviewer, I can almost manage that, but 3 a month, basically, it's just too much. And the space between the Exceptional and 18, 19, 20, and then the 21, 22, 23 was just very short. And what I would also do, if I know you had to think about this 10 plus years ago, I want more bourbon matured products. I've had so many different sherry matured products that I've just given up on sherry. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly nose these. I'm going to rank them, and I'm going to actually taste all of them and review them and give you my personal opinion. All right, so I do have a new camera. I'm still working on the perspectives here, but that's just the way it is. The Glentauchers. Very classic sherry, dried fruits. Good. Oh, it's okay. Going to go over to the Glenrothes, just on purpose so I can do these two together. Different, a little bit more of that. I always get with Glenrothes, I get an orange peel. And I get a tiny little whiff of sulfur, which I'm going, I don't want sulfur. No sulfur, please. And the Linkwood, the Linkwood has more good oak and also a little bit of brown sugar. and a little bit of dried spices as well as fruits. I think of almost like a Turkish bazaar when you go buy the spices. It's good. I like. And the exceptional? Oh, the Pedro Jimenez really is different. Do I recognize the age? 17 versus 10? Maybe on the nose. All right, let's go over here. Our Glentauchers. Glentauchers is... Oh, I have the new book, by the way, 2025. Beautiful book, great stuff. It's still my #1 reference book. It belongs to Chevis Brothers Pernod Ricard. So that makes sense here. Linkwood belongs to Diageo, and Glenrothes belongs also to Diageo, if I remember correctly here. So also, no, oh, I'm sorry, the Addington Group. Yeah, famous grouse. Famous grouse was sold to William Grant & Son. William Grant & Sons were one of the very few people that in the last financial year, 2023 to 2024, actually made a double-digit profit. Increase in sales, increase in profit. Everyone else has a single to double-digit decline. And yeah, so Glenrothes, what are they going to do with all their whiskey if they're not putting it into a blend called Famous Grouse? So they have Macallan, they have Highland Park, and they have Glenrothes. I think that's it. Whew. Times are changing. All right, let's try this. The Glentauchers. Often the whiskeys are a little hot. And the Glentauchers is a little hot. I would like to add a little bit of water to this. There's some dried fruit. There's some sherry moments. Do I get the distillery character? No. Don't forget, we've had 12 years in first fill Oloroso sherry butts. Unchilled filtered, no color added. For 42 euros, that's a good whiskey. It's a C to C plus in my categories today. Value for money, I'm going to give it a B minus. All right, just because, hey, what else can you buy with 57.1% that tastes good for under 45 euros? Difficult. I'm going to leave this. Now I'm going to go to this. All right, good. We have the Glenrothes. I know it's going to happen because I had the sulfur already. I am hypersensitive to sulfur, and I get sulfur here. That's just a cherry cask. They put this sulfur candle in there. This is a D plus whiskey for me. It ruins it totally. I do get a little bit of orange peel. If you're not sensitive to the sulfur, then buy it. Don't worry about it. It's going to be a good whiskey. It's going to be... I prefer the Glentauchers to the Glenrothes, but hey, that's just me in this moment. As I said, D plus, value for money because it has sulfur in it. A C minus, not my personal favorite. The Linkwood. Linkwood is a canvas that the cask can really, really be artistic with, I think, often. Here, as I said, I always almost, even through the sulfur, I get the orange peel here. This was too hot. This has a little bit of heat. This is actually, with the 57.1%, more than drinkable. Very nice. There's a little bit of an astringency, a little bit of a wood moment going on here. These are second fill Oloroso butts, 10 years of age, full maturation from Linkwood. That's good. That's a B minus. That's really, really good. Value for money, I'm going to give this one of my very seldom A's. It's an A for value for money. Go buy the Linkwood. Go buy a couple bottles. Bunker. Stash them away. Store them in some type of area. You don't have to drink them now, but that is a very, very good product. Now, do I get the typical Linkwood distillery character? No, because I do not think the distillery character of Linkwood is very, very prominent. I think it's a very subtle And it allows a lot of space for the cask to actually do its magic. And magic it has done. I love the fact that this is second fill Oloroso. I love the fact that this is first fill with 12 years of age. This is second fill with 10 years of age, and I notice nothing on difference in color. Actually, the second fill Oloroso sherry butts seem to be a tiny bit darker, actually. And that's first fill, and that's 12 years. So now the real question of the day, and that's what I wanted this bottle to be here on the table, is for double the price. Not quite double the age. 17 years versus 10 years. This has second fill Oloroso in it, but it also has first fill Pedro Jimenez. Is it really double the value, double the taste, double the flavor? Of course it can't be. I mean, who are we kidding? So, down the nose, very, very nice. On the palate, there's a much stronger viscosity here, thickness. The Pedro Jimenez comes through more. There's a great sweetness and a interesting oak sassafras. I go to sassafras moment here. And what I got in German, my German video, and I will also get a little bit here, it's a little soapy. Now, my original video of the three comparison, the Altmore, the Linkwood, and the Altmore, the Linkwood, and the Craigellachie, I did not get soapiness at all. But I get a tiny, tiny little bit of soapiness here. Just to compare these again, this has on Whiskybase 86.8. This has 86.1. This has 85.5, and this has 84.4. My ranking is 1, 2, 3, 4. I dislike this the most because of sulfur. All right. So I like this the most because it's actually a very, very good whiskey. I like this better than I like this because of that lightly soapy moment. Now you're going, Jason, but this is 7 years older. This is only 10. This is 17. Older must mean better. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Often it is not. In direct price and direct taste comparison, it's often not. Fantastic, fantastic whiskey, especially for the price. Now, as I mentioned, my question of the day is, what is the frequency that Signature Vintage should be putting out the bottles? I suggest 2 bottles a month, 24 bottles a year. As I've mentioned, and that's including their exceptional Cask series here. Now, they've already done 30 bottles this year. I've surrendered. I can't keep up. I'm doing 3 bottles at a time on my whiskey videos, and still I can't keep up. And it has nothing to do with the fact that an Altmore is a little bit more peated and I don't want it. It has to do with the fact that there's just too many things out there. And if I look at the websites here, and that's also one little thing I'd like to mention. With the Linkwood, there are 29 shops, online shops, that still have this available. If we go over to the Glenrothes, there's 27 shops that still have that available. If we go to the Exceptional Cask, there's 24 shops that still have this available. And if we go over here to our Glentauchers, there's over 30 online shops that still have these products. And they're just on the shelves. This is not something that we whiskey geeks are trying and running to the store and buying these products or going online and going click, click, click and getting these products moving. Even we, the nerds, are overwhelmed at the frequency of bottles coming out. And even there are gems there. This Linkwood is a gem. Beautiful, beautiful bottle. And yet, how will we know? If we just look and say, oh, again. And if I'm a store and I don't have room for 30 different bottlings. Even on Whiskey Fair, I was recently there and they had 2 of these bottlings. And I was like, but there's 30. Yeah, I know, Jason. I don't have enough room for all 30 of them. and it's just too much, too quickly, too soon. All right, so what is your favorite number of bottlings from the 100 proof series per year for the year 2025? I'm going to stick with my highly considered recommendation of 24. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others, and seeing you real soon here. Whiskey Jason, bye-bye.